I think there was an article in Motor or Motor Age. I don't know which one. It's sitting on the front counter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the article was about should you charge for inspections?
Yeah.
And the answer was yes, because your basic. You can give them three choices. We'll do a basic that's not going to cost you anything. We'll do a such and such that'll cost you this much, and then we'll do a full that's going to cost you this much. And of course, they're going to go for the middle one if they go for anything. But
right.
It's not fair to ask the tech to do a half hour to an hour inspection for nothing. And it's not fair for the owner to have to pay the tech a half hour or an hour to do the inspection and not get paid for it.
Agreed.
So, yeah, it was an interesting article.
Yeah, I think that sounds like I'd be curious, what type of inspections are we charging for? What are we doing for free? Because that's very interesting, because when I look at that also, I mean, I wouldn't want to have to do that deal for free. I can't think of any of my technicians that would like to. Yeah, Pam?
What I find from a service writer perspective is that people will be sold things. So if you have a product in mind, and in your mind that product has value, people are willing to pay for it. So the way you sell a trip inspection is they want to be safe when they're on a trip. The problem comes in when you don't ask them enough questions. So you're saying the check engine light is on. So they need to ask that question up front. So what are your concerns about the car specifically? Mm-hmm. What should I be addressing? Because if you don't, they will hold you accountable for things you didn't find. So it's all in that accountability. It's all in that kind of relationship between the product you're selling and what their expectations are. Now, I know, Fred, we have very high expectations in our customer base, but they don't travel very far because they're Ballard, Queen Anne, Magnolia, which, if you guys don't know, Seattle is not very far. So you have to build in expectation when you're selling it. You have to sell the product, and it has to be worth their time. That way you're selling the technician on the product and you're selling your customer on the product, but they'll buy it because it has value to them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you ever have any trouble selling trip checks?
No, because people asked for it. It was a product they expected to pay for.
Yeah. Scott, I like that.
If we're doing an oil change, we do a regular inspection, which is more or less like a trip inspection. But we do have people on occasion, especially the older crowd, that get an oil change once or twice a year because they never put 3,000 miles on their car for the year. A lot of times they're going to see family 2, 3, 4 hours away, and they'll come and ask for one, and we'll bring them in and we charge them for it, and they're more than happy to pay, $30 for an inspection. They're very happy with that because then they at least know peace of mind that they're good to go on their trip.
And then do you get to sell up from there? Oh, by the way, this thing, that thing, yeah. That's the other thing. It's a great tool to sell from the front desk perspective.
I love that, yeah.
And most of them we don't find anything to sell because they're the good customers that always getting their car taken care of already anyway, but they're happy with peace of mind. That's why we need to charge them for those because they don't have anything to upsell for.
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely, in these advisor classes, we always talk about setting yourself up for success. And what a great way to show that to the customer. This is what we're going to do. Boy, they're ready for that full intensive report that they're going to get back off of this road trip check or this trip inspection. Mm-hmm. And I probably would, as Jerry suggested, to your own individual, add your check any indicator lights on and a battery test. I think would be a little more thorough. I'd want those things done if I'm about to take a road trip on my car, right? Because you don't want to get stuck with a dead battery or any of that.
Yeah.
On a very related topic, last week, Natasha called all over town, called up shop, said, "What do you charge for a full inspection?" They were way higher than I thought. They were $150 in our neighborhood. So, we're going to start charging more than we did and more often than we did because most of the time it was free. We've been doing that for years.
Yeah. And I think,
one of the other things that, of course, I've been taught is if you need to, and we use this, but we will tell the customer over the phone, when we're trying to get them in, we'll do a 15-minute no wrench inspection on whatever their concern is. That will pull, an SES code, and then we'll discuss with the customer what we need to do going forward. So they have the expectation that we're going to do a visual inspection for 15 minutes, which you never do a full 15 minutes, but it's to get them in. And then you can talk to them about maybe we need to do a complete brake inspection, which is going to cost you some money for us to do a clean and inspect on the rear drum brake, something like that. But it's a lead in. And that's basically more to get them in the door.
What do you guys charge for a brake inspection, Jerry?
Simple brake inspection, we don't charge anything, but if they do have drums, we do talk to them because we are going to do a clean and inspect, and that's going to be like $63 to pull the drums off, clean them up, inspect them, see what's going on. That we're not going to do for nothing.
Sure.
But most brakes we can see through, wheels on the front. So that we don't charge them anything for. And my tech, I just noticed he's got a great brake pad measuring tool. We've got the one that has, the red through green type deal, but you had to basically pull the wheel off in order to get it back in there. The way his are made, they've actually got a hook on the front end of them that's the same size as like 4 millimeters. So you can actually get it in behind the tire and behind there and just hook it and see if it's the same thing. So it's
very cool.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Now, are you able to get the inner pad as well, or just the outer?
No, normally you can get to the inner pad too.
Nice.
So
that I would consider that a good brake inspection. Yeah. How about anybody else? Is anybody else charging for or is anybody charging for brake inspections? No, you guys don't either? No. Nah, I agree with that too, because golly, I mean, usually there's something going on that gives you the cost to want to get your brakes inspected to begin with. And so that's typically going to equate to a repair job for the shop.
Well, no, I will say if there's something wrong, we do a brake job, we're not going to charge them for the clean and inspect.
Goes toward the repair.
It just, that gets wiped out and then it goes into the repair.
Yeah.
But so many times, a lot of the people who want that from us, like the one guy who came in this morning, we told him he needed front brakes. He went somewhere else and got them done. And then he brings it back here and wants us to do a rear brake inspection.
Oh, wow.
So no, he got charged for
absolutely
clean and adjust.
I used to challenge people at the front desk who tried to do that kind of thing. It's like, you know what? That dog don't hunt. We can't make any money if you're going to use us to diagnose and someone else to fix. So that's the end of that.
Yeah, from now on, you have to pay.
Yep.
Inspections.
Yep.
I've single
better than they are anyway. So you got no business treating us like that.
Yeah.
I think my first or second week in the business, full service, a guy named Eric Griggers was working with me, and I was like, man, we're not really selling a lot of the stuff you're presenting. He goes, oh man, I sell everything. They might not get it done here, but they're getting it done. So we got to do something about that. We need them to get it done here.
Yeah.